When a Yonamami tribesperson dies, the community gathers around the lifeless body. A solemn silence falls, broken only by the soft weeping of those left behind. There is no grave to be dug, no headstone to mark the passing. Instead, the body is carefully prepared for an ancient, sacred ritual. First, the flesh is burned, every inch, every feature, reduced to ash and brittle bone. But this is not to erase the dead. It is to set their spirit free. The charred remains are then collected, crushed into a fine gray powder. Bones, teeth, the ashes of a heart that once beat. Nothing is left to rot. Nothing is allowed to fade to the earth. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for true stories, tales, and discoveries like this. Now let's continue. In the Yonamami belief, the spirit known as Moamo lingers after death. If ignored, it turns angry, restless, dangerous. It can haunt the village, sicken the children, or drive men to madness. And so, a bitter sacred soup is prepared. Plantains mashed and boiled form the base. Into this, the ashes are mixed, thickening the broth, darkening it. It is said the very essence of the dead fuses with the soup. A final unholy communion between the living and the lost. Then, one by one, the family drinks. Children, elders, widows, all consume the bitter ash-laden soup, not out of hunger, but love, not for pleasure, but necessity. For if they do not, the spirit will never find peace. It will wander forever, lost in the jungle's suffocating darkness. But this is only part of the tale, in rare whispered accounts passed through generations. It said certain parts of the dead, the fat, the teeth, were sometimes reserved. The elders, it was claimed, would slow roast the fatty pieces over fire, believing them to hold the dead's remaining strength. They wore the teeth of the fallen as charms, hung them over beds to ward off evil spirits. Some would grind them to powder and swallow them, convinced it would pass the wisdom of the deceased into their own flesh. And if a tribesman was murdered by an outsider, the ritual became something far darker. The remains of the slain would be consumed quickly, sometimes within hours. The ashes mixed not into soup, but fermented plantain beer, a thick, heady drink that clouded the mind and blurred the lines between life and death. It was said those who drank it would be granted visions. The face of the killer would appear in the flames or in the glowing eyes of a jungle beast, and vengeance would follow. In the most secretive of tribes, the bones of shamans were sometimes not burned at all, instead ground to dust and mixed with hallucinogenic snuff, a potent powder inhaled through the nostrils in violent, trance-inducing ceremonies. It was believed this would open gateways to the spirit world, allowing the shaman to speak with the dead or become one with a jaguar. To the outside world, these rites seemed grotesque. Tales of bone soup, ash beer, and cannibalistic snuff terrified early explorers. But to the Yonamami, this was not horror. It was love. It was loyalty. It was the unbreakable bond between the living and the dead. Even today, in the deepest corners of the Amazon, the fire still burns. The ash-laden soup still stirs. And the spirits of the dead live on in those who refuse to let them go. So remember, in some forgotten places, the dead are never truly buried. In the darkest depths of the Amazon rainforest, where the air is thick, canopy blocks out the sun, and shadows move like living things, there lives a tribe the outside world was never meant to find. A people whose rituals are so chilling, so unthinkable. They defy everything we know about life and death. They are known as the Yonamami. To most, death marks the end of a story, a final breath, a burial in the earth. But to the Yonamami, death is only the beginning. For centuries, this isolated tribe has practiced a funerary ritual. Unlike anything else on Earth, a ritual that involves the dead not being buried, but consumed. Not by animals, not by fire alone, but by their own flesh and blood.